Oh, yeah. Have you seen the state of this? Look at this. Twix. My little finger. It's ridiculous. Just thought I'd get it off my chest before I start drawing. Absolutely outrageous. Tory Britain. Right, that's my rant over. I've eaten my Twix now. I'm full. I don't know. So I'm drawing. What's my drawing? Well, this is something that I'd prepared initially. You see, I've done two, working on this one. I prepared it to work on digitally. And indeed, I might still do that. I've scanned both of these and they're now sitting on my iPad. But I thought, I can also work on them purely in an analog form as well on the page. So that's what I'm doing, and I thought it'd be good to use some coloured pencils for this. They work well on top of paint, top of this watercolour. So yeah, I'm aware. And what am I drawing? I'm drawing a character called Truncador. Truncador. And Truncador is in a Brazilian film from 1967 called This Night I Will Possess Your Corpse. Or This Night I'll Possess Your Corpse, can't remember now. It's part of what is known as the Coffin Joe trilogy. Trilogy of horror films featuring the character Coffin Joe. Coffin Joe is it's not a man. It's not like Bob Fleming off the Fast Show. He's always coughing. It's Coffin. He's an undertaker in what appears to be a Brazilian village or town. I'm going to call it a village, maybe a suburb. This doesn't matter. Anyway, he's in a town in Brazil. And he's not a nice man. He's horrible, really. Coffin Joe, he mocks the people of the town for believing in God and the devil and spirits and stuff. It's just the only truth is, you live and then you die, and that's it. And there's no God or anything like that. But he's obsessed with his bloodline and making sure that his bloodline is passed on. He talks about immortality, and that immortality is possible through your children. You live on through them. And in this film in particular, and partly in the first one as well, he's looking for the perfect woman to mate with him, the perfect man, as he sees it, so they can have the perfect child and pass on his genes. And yeah, he's a freak. So I should describe him first. He's got a beard, tash, very neat. Can't tell if it's a fake at first, but I think it's not. It's just really perfectly trimmed, like footballers have now, really perfectly trimmed beards. Remember that when I was growing up, beards were shaggy. They weren't perfectly trimmed. Even Noel Edmonds' beard was a bit shaggy. Look at Noel Edmonds now, and it's sharp lines and not the real colour, dyed as well. Yeah. So he's got this very neat beard. He's got big dark eyes, and he wears an Undertaker's hat, and he's got incredibly long nails. There's one of his thumbnails. He's like, whoa, it's really creepy nails. So that's what he looks like. He wears a cape, a la Dracula, but he's not Dracula. He doesn't believe in the supernatural, anything like that. Yet he himself is a monster. And in this film, This Night I'll Possess Your Corpse, he kidnaps, I think it's 5 women, locks them up in what must be his house. It appears to be he has like a dungeon and stuff in it. And he's got a strange hunchbacked helper who just appeared. He wasn't in the first film. And he locks all these women up, and he's trying to find the perfect one for him. So he tests them all. They're all asleep in one room, and he puts like tarantulas into the room. And there's a really extended sequence in this film of these tarantulas crawling all over these sleeping women. It's like, it'll make skin crawl. It's very Lucio Fulci in the way that he's put in the director, who is also Coffin Joe in real life. He puts them through it, these actresses, having to lie there with these tarantulas crawling all over them. But he's watching them through some holes in the window. You know, he removes a cover in the wall, and then there's these 2 eyes. It's all the classic horror tropes. And he watches to see which one is frightened, which ones aren't frightened. And there's only one. So he chooses her. I choose you. And the other women, he just throws them in a dungeon with a load of snakes. And as he's can say making love. He's not making love, is he? He's basically raping this woman. He opens a hatch in the floor, and through the hatch you can see the women in the dungeon who are looking up, being forced to watch this. It's horrible. Yeah, quite horrific. And one of them curses him. So he ends up, the woman he's with ends up not going through with it. So he doesn't quite rape her because he stops. When she says no, he agrees. I think there has to be a willing participant. So he's on the hunt for someone else. And he sees that the I think it's a daughter of the guy who kind of one of the important people in the town. He sees his daughter. She rides into town, and it's like, she's the one for me. And to not make this too long, she decides that he's the one for her, and she's into his cruelty and his depraved ways. So they get together, and she conceives. She gets pregnant by him. Now, all the while this is going on, he's worrying about this curse, even though he knows it's nonsense. And the woman he's with, she's, telling him this is stupid. But he has this dream, this nightmare, where he's dragged into hell. This is great because the film's in black and white, and he gets dragged into hell by being grabbed from hands from a graveyard in this dream, grab him head first and pull him down into the soil. It's great effect. Really well done. And when he enters hell in this black and white film, it's suddenly full colour, like Wizard of Oz. And he sees his horrendous, his horrendous visions of people being tortured and stuff. Really good. He meets the devil, also played by himself with the horns and stuff. Great moment in the film. He wakes up, he's persuaded by his partner that it's just a dream, it's nothing to worry about. None of this is real. Anyway, so what happens? Where's this guy coming to it? This is Trunchador. And he's an odd character. He's got one funny eye, something wrong with it, possibly in real life. As you can see, I've not coloured the pupil. It's all black around the outside, and this is kind of white and very reflective. There's some shenanigans going on with Trunchador gets blackmailed and accused of the murder of someone who Coffin Joe has killed. But the main man in town doesn't believe him, and he gets Trunchador out. And Trunchador teams up with a gang of 4 other guys, this is one of them, to try and kill Coffin Joe. Coffin Joe fights them, beats them all. Not sure how, because he's a weedy guy as well, Coffin Joe. What happens then? Can you tell it's very convoluted? It is. Some fighting. But eventually Coffin Joe is pursued by the townspeople in a similar way to the Frankenstein films, where they always storm the castle. All the townspeople finally decided they've had enough of Coffin Joe, and they all gang up and chase him. And they chase him into the swamps where previously the bodies of the 4 women he killed in the dungeon were all disposed of. And he falls into this swamp. And as he does so, he's kind of drowning in this swamp. These skeletons of all these women rise to the surface, as if they've finally had their revenge. The curse has been enacted, and Coffin Joe sinks into the swamp, and the film ends. Crazy film. Trunchador's a very memorable character. He looks very unusual. He wears a really bizarre costume that doesn't really kind of make sense. In everyone else is wearing their like normal shirts, jeans, and that workwear and stuff. Even Coffin Joe's like cape and hat, it's still the right kind of costume for an undertaker. And Trunchador is wearing this bizarre leather jerkin and leather trousers sort of effect with a massive gold medallion. Like he's come out of a circus or something. Really, really odd. I don't know why, but it does make for a really good character. Really great character. You remember, and instantly I saw him. I thought, oh, I'm drawing him. Definitely. He's great. But yeah, strange film. There are 3 films in the Coffin Joe trilogy, but there are a lot of more films with Coffin Joe in them. I've been watching them on Arrow Player. I've seen the first 2, so I'm looking forward to seeing the others. Coffin Joe is a very bizarre character in that he's the star of the films, but he's the villain. Really horrible. In some ways, when you watch and it's always the films so far have followed him. He's the central character as well. Whereas if you watch Dracula, like the Christopher Lee ones, although the film's named after Dracula, you follow that film through the eyes of his enemies, like Peter Cushing, Van Helsing usually, or someone like that. But in the Coffin Joe films, we follow it through the eyes of Coffin Joe. So it's weird because he's kind of, and he's the hero, but he's not. He's an anti-hero. It's very, very odd films. Very imaginative as well. I think films from that era, horror films from the 60s, they had to rely a lot on imagination and interesting filmic techniques because special effects hadn't yet really evolved to the stage they're at now. You know, super realistic makeup and that. Hence that scene I mentioned where he goes to hell and it suddenly switches to colour. Just that in itself is like, oh, quite an unusual thing. And I like that about old horror films. They had to use their imagination maybe a bit more than modern horror films do. And they expect the audience to use their imagination as well, which I do like. I like that a lot about older films. You've almost got your own input into it as you're watching it, which is really good. Now, whites. I may need my white Posca pen. I've nearly finished this, by the way. I don't want to work on it too much, but we do want some whites. And that's absolutely doing nothing. So I've got 2 whites. I've also got, I'll tell you, the best whites is my Tipp-Ex. So let's get in with that. There we go. Won't show up that well on the camera, I don't think. But it's doing something. Oh, too much. Let's get rid. I'll just mop up that. Okay. Trouble with this Tipp-Ex then is it's the brush is too big. Let's try this Posca pen. I need spare bit of paper to just test it on. Okay. Some highlights in white there. I recommended these Posca pens to somebody, but the white ones, frankly, they're rubbish. They really are. I've got another thing here. I think this is probably rubbish as well, a paint marker. It's almost always virtually transparent. No, that's rubbish. I've got a Tipp-Ex pen. Shall we try this? It's gonna be shite, I can tell you. This one isn't working. Not convinced. Bit better, but it's still pretty translucent. So what I don't have to hand, some gouache paints would do that. Anyway, that is done. Any more on that and I will spoil it. So that is Truncador from This Night I'll Possess Your Corpse. Brazilian film 1967 starring Coffin Joe. Thanks for watching. If you get a chance to see any of the Coffin Joe films, watch them. They will blow your mind. Right, see you next time.